what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another great edition of the Dontaes Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dante, and we got another great show for you guys as always. Whole lot of boxing news. We had a whole lot of boxing this weekend. Let's first go ahead and introduce the panel as we always do at this time. I got on the phone my man Kirk Jackson. He's a boxing writer and a former boxer himself from BoxingInsider.com. Go ahead and check out that website. Check out his articles, all right? And in the studio, I got my man. He does a little bit of everything, man. My man Milton Arline. What's going on, family?
What's going on, fam?
All right, and probably gonna have my man AK calling up in a minute, man. But first things first, as always, man, I want to thank all you guys for always supporting. Oh yeah, and let me go ahead and give shots out to my sponsor, man. Shouts out to the Box Fan Expo, man. Box Fan Expo, you guys, if you guys gonna be out here in Vegas, man, Cinco de Mayo weekend, the weekend that Chavez fights against Canelo, or I should say Canelo fights against Chavez, man, you guys do not want to miss this Box Fan Expo. All of the professional boxers are going to be there, taking pictures, signing autographs. They're going to be hanging out with the fans. This is a great event, something that we needed in the sport of boxing for a very long time, and now it's an annual situation, all right? So you guys see the call-in number. You guys can go ahead and get in line right now and get on cue, and we're going to take some calls in a little bit, all right? Once again, everybody who donates, I really appreciate everyone who just watches the channel. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the support, all right? So we're going to go ahead and get it pushing and do what we do as always, y'all. Let's get it cracking. Man, Milton.
Hey, man.
It's a, man, and like I said, we can just give you a little rundown. We're going to talk about this Deontay Wilder versus Gerald Washington upgrade in competition. We're going to talk about Richardson, man. Richardson Hitchens signing with Mayweather Promotions, Mayweather Connor. But the first thing I want to talk about, Milt, is these fights this past weekend, man.
Let's get into it.
Man, it was some good stuff. You know what?
Fight weekend, man.
Absolutely, man. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just jump into the big ones right now, man. First of all, who were you the most impressed with? And I think I know the answer, but I'm asked the question anyway, man.
I got to give it to my man Mikey, man. Mikey Garcia looked impressive. I thought that he was still going to be showing some signs of ring rust because, you know, in his last fight, I wasn't really impressed by him. I know that 2-year layoff, you know, had some effect on him. But for me, I thought that he was still going to, you know, Zachichian.
Yep.
Yeah, Zachichian he's no slouch. And that cat he can crack. He got power for days. You know, a lot of cats from that Kazakhstan region, over there, they bring a lot of cats that can bang. And I thought that this was going to be a really tough fight for him, man, and he breezed right through him like shit through a goose, bro.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did. And Kirk Jackson, I mean, what was your thoughts on Mikey Garcia's performance, man? Your reaction and everything.
Can we say knockout of the year?
Yeah, it could
very well
possibly be.
I know the year is young; it's only January, but yeah, bro, yeah,
it could possibly be.
It's gonna be tough to beat that one.
Yeah, because matter of fact, Jamel Charlo, again, was that last year? That was last year. That's right. This is the beginning of the year. Yeah. So that's a vicious knockout. And you know the thing is, I thought that, no doubt about it, I thought the teaching and he was going to be Mikey Garcia's toughest opponent. And even today, still, even after that impressive knockout, on paper, I still believe that was Mikey Garcia's best opponent, you know. But the
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, the way he did it with ease, I love, and it's so crazy because Remy, you know, is he spars with a lot of southpaws and everything, and you know, we always working on, you know, how to basically neutralize the southpaw. Obviously, you know, you move to the left. What he was doing was just so perfect. You know,
Perfect.
circling to the left,
Yes.
and just popping him with double, triple jabs.
Yes.
And once he found out how easy it was to catch dude with jabs, that's when he was able to let the rest of his hands go, which
Just let
a
it
good
go.
trainer will always tell you, if you can't hit nobody with a jab, you ain't gonna hit him with nothing.
Yeah.
And Mikey Garcia, he displayed all of that. Flawless performance. I wasn't that impressed with his last performance, even though he got a knockout
Right.
against Eloy Rojas, because he was getting hit so much. But he fixed those problems in this fight, man.
Obviously.
I mean, he knew that the guy was a power puncher. And this is what I try to tell fans as well. You know, when I say to fans, when a fighter knows that he's going in the ring with a guy who's a power puncher, a lot of times he steps his game up. He steps his defense level up. And that's probably what we may see. And this makes me think of Danny Jacobs versus Golovkin. Danny Jacobs may go in there respecting Golovkin's power, and it may actually work in Danny Jacobs' favorite, But
I
getting
would
back,
say
go ahead.
this, but before we get off that subject, this is the Triple G segment of the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to get him in there somehow. But the thing is, I do believe that Jacobs he got to respect that power. And if he does not linger in the pocket, he can beat Triple G. But I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think so.
Yeah.
We can move on.
No, you're right. You're right. And like you said, this is the Mikey Garcia segment. But like I said, when I think of the scenario,
Right.
that's the scenario I think
see
of.
it.
A guy going in there with a big power puncher,
Right.
And you're going to have to find out how to neutralize that power.
Yes.
And some people, they fold and, they freeze up and they don't punch. They like David Lemieux did. To me, he just
man.
froze up.
He did.
You got a guy who's usually throwing punches the whole fight. All of a sudden, he fighting like it's his first fight. You know what I mean? Like he got stage fright or something.
I'll say this, and a lot of people, God, man, I can't remember this guy's name, but he sparred with Triple G a while back, and I watched the video of this guy. He was talking about how, once you get hit with that power, it just makes you forget a lot of the shit that you came in the ring to do. It's like, hey, man, that old adage Mike Tyson said, once you everybody come in the ring with a
game plan.
So you get hit in the mouth.
Uh-huh.
He said that is exactly what happens to most people. He like even his jabs are vicious. It's hard to compete with his jabs.
No
man.
doubt about it.
So I think Danny Jacobs when you don't have enough ring experience, for one thing, that's when that will really show. But if you got some ring experience and you've been hit by hard shots, then you know how to adapt. You know when to hold. You know when to grab. You know when to even maybe take a knee and take a 1-point loss rather than getting knocked out, standing there trying to battle with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Experience brings that. Experience brings that. I think Jacobs has that. I think everybody talks about that one knockout loss. I know it's significant, but it was some time ago. I mean, the kid has grown from that. I know he did get dropped by Moore, but coming in wild,
I don't think that means anything.
I don't think it means anything.
He was on the verge of knocking him out. Of course, he was reckless.
Came in sloppy.
You're not expecting, a pillow-fisted fighter to just out of nowhere come out with a perfect hook or whatever it was and catch you.
He caught you right on the chin.
And so I don't really take that too serious. I mean, I'm more focused on the fact that he got knocked out, period. But like you said, that was a long time ago.
That was a while ago.
But going back to Mikey Garcia, man, like I said, it was a very impressive performance. There are a lot of good fighters for him to fight right now, Milton.
I know.
We talked about this before the show, man.
Yes, we did.
I said that I truly believe, as good as Mikey is, the only person who's going to really give him that work is Robert Easter. You said, what do you think? Who wins that fight, Milton?
I say that is Mikey Garcia going to win that fight.
You think Mikey wins that fight?
I mean, what you calling it, Kurt?
Wow, that's a good fight. I'm going to lean towards Mikey.
You're going to lean towards Mikey?
Hey, man.
Experience.
Yeah,
I know.
The
experience. That's the only reason I'm giving it to him. And I hope that Bunny Easter's people don't put him in there, don't rush to get him in there with Mikey. Because the thing is, I mean, the kid is young. He's only, 18 fights in?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I don't really think that he's ready for that level of confidence.
And this is, I guess, it's a catch-22, or you could look at it two different ways. Mm-hmm. I look at the Gervonta Tank Davis situation. That's the same thing people said when he fought against Pedraza. Not saying that Pedraza is Mikey Garcia.
He is
but
not.
a lot of people felt Gervonta, he did not have the experience to get in the ring with someone on Pedraza's level. I think that Robert Easter beating Richard Comey, I think even when he fought against Mendez, I think that gives him the experience to compete with Mikey Garcia. To me, I would slightly lean towards. I think I would lean towards Robert Easter in that fight. Me personally, I think outside of him, I think Mikey Garcia beats everyone else. But it would be a terrific fight, and it's a fight that can be made. It's a fight that could easily be made because both fighters fight for Al Heyman. They both fight on the PBC series.
That's true.
So that's a fight that can actually be made
It can
easily.
be made easily.
I think Mikey beats Linares. I think Linares will go back to the old days where, he was getting stopped in tough fights.
I think so too.
Terry Flanagan is good too, though. Terry Flanagan is actually really good. He's a good boxer, but I don't think he has the speed or the technique that a Robert Easter or a Mikey Garcia has. So, it would really, really be interesting to see how that goes down.
I know. And Kurt, who would you like to see him fight next? Mikey.
Robert Easter or Mikey?
Mikey.
I don't have anyone in particular, but now that you guys brought up the matchup, I'd love to see him and Easter eventually at some point. I hope they work their way towards that fight. I'd like to see Robert Easter probably get 2 or 3 fights.
And that's me too. I would like to see him get at least 2-3 more fights in before they made that matchup. This is the thing. Unfortunately, though, one thing Mikey said in the ring was that he's looking to move up to 140. So
yeah,
I mean,
well, he said he wanted to unify the belts first.
He wanted to unify. He did say he wanted to unify, but I don't know if he wants to unify all titles at that weight, or if he just wants to go ahead and grab another one, maybe one more strap, maybe and then move up. But when you talking around hanging, moving up to Bud Crawford.
Oh yeah,
that neighborhood, man, is expensive.
That's a dangerous neighborhood.
It's a dangerous neighborhood.
That's a dangerous. Man. Don't get caught walking out at night. You walk.
But I'm reading a lot of stuff online, man, and this cat's talking about he could beat Bud Crawford.
Yeah, he sound real confident. We were talking to him right after the fight, man. He sound real confident. It sound like all of a sudden, that just boosts the morale. When it came to. Him. I mean, he always sounded like he was interested in the Terrence Crawford fight, but after this performance, you could just see there was an extra little glow in him. He was, oh yeah, Terrence Crawford. Oh, that sounds real good. I'm paraphrasing.
I think even before, a couple years ago, before he took that long layoff, they were even talking about putting him together with Terrence Crawford. Because both were on top.
Bob wanted to do it. Yeah, Bob wanted to put him, and that's when Mikey, at the time, to me, Mikey seemed just a little reluctant at that time because he was saying to Bob Arum, well, I tell you what, you let me out the contract and then I'll fight I'll fight Crawford if you want me to. So, I mean, but now, like I said, I truly believe that he really is ready. He's really, really ready for that jump. And it will be interesting, man. But once again, I mean, we probably jumping the gun a little bit because, like I said, he got to get past these, monsters at 135 right now.
Yeah,
and that alone is not going to be easy. So I just really hope that he gets the opportunity to fight all of these guys, though. So
I would like that, but
yeah,
Ray Beltran might get a shot.
Beltran,
yeah.
You said Beltran may get a shot at who?
Or maybe him and Garcia can
mix
put
it up
something together.
Ray Beltran?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that'd be, a cool little, warm up for the other champions, I guess. But I want to see him against Terry Flanagan, Linares, or Robert Easter, man. I truly believe I think we all can agree the two best though at 135 is Robert Easter and Mikey Garcia.
Oh,
right?
Without a doubt, yeah. I agree with that one.
No doubt.
And the thing is, I try not to be a prisoner of the moment. We just saw that vicious knockout. He walked right through, a really good, solid opponent, And a lot of times we have the tendency to, you know, walk away from that like, oh my God, this man, he could be Superman. You know, oh man, line him up. You know, oh, he can knock them all out. Don't be a prisoner of the moment. Try not to get caught up.
Don't get mesmerized just by the knockout.
By that knockout.
You got to look at everything that transpired before the knockout as well.
Right, and that's true.
Like I said, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, Robert Easter, he has a fight coming up that lets me know his team is serious about grooming this kid too. Because the fight that he has coming up, I think it's Luis Cruz, I believe it is. The kid he's not ranked that high, but this is a good keep him busy fight, gain some experience, because they know where this kid is right now. And I don't want to see him fighting somebody on Mikey Garcia's level at the moment. You don't have to. And they all can't be wars. You know what I mean? You can't keep putting your fighters in there with tough comp, because it's not going to last. It's not going to last. Not at this young of an age. When you get a solid, they get around 28, 29 years old, and then, hey, man, turn them loose. But young kid, I think that they're serious about his career and making sure that they got him in the right direction. It can't all be tough fights. But him and Rashay Warren fighting on the 10th, and there's going to be some good fights in Ohio.
Shouts out to my man, Coach Sheldon. He said, hey, Dante, can you explain how in the hell did Amir Khan end up in the best position at the welterweight division? Shout out to Coach Sheldon. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and here, let me see. Okay, I'll do it later on. I was about to make him a moderator. I don't see my option over here.
Oh, okay.
Where's my option to make him a moderator? It didn't
I'll
pop
answer
up.
that for him.
Go ahead, answer the question.
Let me tell you, they say they got that videotape of Donald Trump, in the hotel with the hookers peeing on him. I think Mauricio Suleiman might have been in the video somewhere, but the WBC man is, I don't know. I have no idea. You got to have butt naked pictures of somebody.
I'll tell you what it is. A lot of people are looking at him. There it goes. So, hey, Coach Sheldon, I made you a moderator, man. So if you see any decaps in there, trying to distract, calling us, monkeys and all that kind of stuff, go ahead and block them and get them up out of here, man. You're talking nonsense. But anyway, man, to answer that question, though, I'll put it this way, man. He's easy taking. The guy just got knocked out. He doesn't have the best chin in the world. We already know that. You feel me? So a lot of people, they feel, especially Kell Brook, he feels I can make some money. Yes. I may be able to knock this guy out, and I don't have to get my ass whooped by Errol Spence. And that's what it really comes down to. But but it is funny. He's still the mandatory for the winner of Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman, and that's only because he moved up in weight to get that ass, tapped by Canelo. Right. So that's why. So he didn't lose that position at welterweight. So Khan is in a real good position. A dude who just got knocked out. All the champions want to give him a title shot. That is pretty crazy, man. But we're going to take a call in a minute, guys. So for everybody that's waiting right now, we definitely going to take a call, guys.
Yeah, it's loading up. But I will say this. Money makes this thing go around. And even though he's been knocked out, somebody put together a highlight reel. Usually somebody highlight reel has a fighter knocking other fighters out. They put a highlight reel together of Khan getting knocked out. Knocked the hell out, man. Cold. It was, man. Cold. I'm like, how do you? And this dude is still in the discussion about title shots. But
it is crazy.
Unfortunately, he has a fan base. He has a draw. He is a draw, especially in his home country. And they know that they can sell fights. They know that they can make money off of that. Mm-hmm. But other than that, man, he really has no business being up in there, man. In the mix like that.
I mean, it's pretty crazy, man. But let's go ahead and take a call right now. Like I said, we got a lot. And my man Milton, he got to get out of here kind of early tonight. So we're gonna try to. So we're gonna try to get in as much as we can before he get out of here. But anyway, let's take a call. I'm not sure. Is this? Let me see. All right, we got area code 337. What's going on, man?
What's up, Dante?
What's good?
Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, man, this is D from Louisiana. It's my first time calling, man. So
what's good, baby? What's good, baby?
What's good, man?
Yep.
What's on your mind, man?
Wonderful job. time, man. I love the show, man, for real.
Man, I'm appreciating that, man. That's why we doing it, man.
But, I will tell you this, Dante. I have never disagreed with you in my life, but I just have to ask you with no due respect, man. I'm sorry, with no disrespect, man. What the hell is wrong with you to think Robert Easter Jr. can beat Mikey Garcia?
To see Robert, wow.
Bring it, baby. I love it, Louisiana.
You know what, man? We got to get Robert Easter. I'm gonna get Robert Easter and Mikey Garcia on the show one of these days, man. But let me just say this, man. I mean, the reach that he has. I mean, the poise that Robert Easter showed against Comey. People are sleeping on Richard Comey, man. Comey alone is a beast. You know, Robert Easter showed me so much in the Comey fight. He showed that he could deal with pressure. He doesn't buckle under pressure because Comey was never deterred in that fight the whole night. Richard, he's tall. Robert is tall. He shows that he can fight on the outside with his range. He also shows that he can fight on the inside while being a tall fighter and still being, responsible defensively. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that he beats Mikey Garcia easy. I'm just telling you, I think I would lean slightly towards Robert in that fight, man. That's the only guy I think has a chance against him. But, and let me just say this too. I'm going to let you talk, but once again, I want everybody to know it's okay with disagreeing with people every once in a while. So, it ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean,
we do some from time to time.
It just throws me off because I'm always with you, man. Like, I'm never, like, everything you pretty much say, I'm already thinking. I'm like, yep, Dante saying the exact same thing I'm thinking, but this is my thing.
Like, wait, hold on. Let me ask you something real quick. I'm gonna let you continue, but let me ask you this real quick. Give me an honest answer. And I know it's hard to, because hindsight is 20/20. But who did you pick to beat when Danny Garcia fought against Lucas Matisse?
I picked Danny.
You picked Danny to win that fight. Okay.
I picked Matisse. I picked Matisse.
Because I had a lot of people say the same thing to me then. They said, Dante, you crazy as hell if you think Danny is going to beat Matisse. And that's the only reason I asked the question. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, I had Danny in there because I know Danny got a chin, man. Danny is just take a punch. And that's all Matisse has is a knockout punch. He goes in there looking for the knockout at all times, although he was displaying better boxing skills at that time. But, I mean, once Danny got settled in, that was his ass. And that's the same thing I think about going to be with Thurman. But I think Thurman's going to win. But if he lets Danny get settled in, that's Thurman ass.
Yeah.
So back to the whole Robert Easter, Mikey Garcia test. I don't know if Robert Easter Jr. can adjust on the fly, and I know Mikey can.
I think he showed it in the Comey fight. I think he showed it in the Comey fight, but yeah.
But Comey never switched nothing up on
No,
him.
Comey definitely switched it up, bro. Comey, he was boxing. He was fighting on the inside. He caught Robert with some hellacious shots where he kind of staggered Robert Easter. Robert Easter came right back. And usually,
but them shots that
like
Comey threw that staggered him, I'm telling you, Mikey will probably put him on his ass with him.
Like what you was talking about with the Mike Tyson reference. When people get caught like that, usually they don't know how to act.
Right.
Robert Easter, he passed that test. He knew how to act when he got caught with some rock solid shots. So, but
I think from a former boxer, it's different when you go in the fight knowing you can whip somebody's ass than when you go in the fight not knowing if you're gonna win this fight. And I don't think Robert Easter's going to go in there knowing he can beat Mikey Garcia.
That's hard to...
Mikey puts something on that he doesn't understand, it'll be a whole different thing. Man, Mikey's a perfect technician. Perfect. He does everything perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, once again, it's no... And it's no diss.
We on the same wavelength tonight, fam.
And there's no diss towards Mikey Garcia. Like I said, my man Milton, and everybody else on the panel, y'all all picking Mikey Garcia to win that fight. I'm just telling you, Robert Easter has a very difficult style, man. I mean, and Mikey does too. But you know what? When we see Mikey Garcia face a fighter with that type of style, then I will never, underestimate him after that. I tell you that right now. So, but what else was you going to say before I cut you off earlier, fam?
Mikey needs to stay away from Terrence Crawford. He do not want that work.
He don't
Terrence
want that
Crawford
work yet.
is the one?
No, he ain't ready for that one yet.
Mikey do not want that work.
Yeah, I mean...
You were right, man. We on the same wavelength tonight.
That's the only person I see beating Bud Crawford.
Terrence Crawford is the only one?
No, he said
Errol Spence Jr. will beat
Errol
Bud
Spence.
Crawford, but that'll be the only person I think.
Yeah,
will beat Bud Crawford.
yeah, we on the same page with that one. I mean, you know, I don't see anybody beating Errol Spence. I'm just gonna put it that way. I ain't gonna point out certain fighters. I don't see anybody beating Errol Spence, and that's no diss to anybody, man.
Nobody.
You know, so that's.
I heard it pisses me off that this is the best, literally the best. I'm only 36 years old, so I don't know all the older prospects like Sugar Ray when he was coming out and Mike Tyson when he was coming out. I was a young boy. But this is absolutely the best American prospect I've ever seen in my life. And I think
Interesting.
It is absolute against, it should be against the law to disrespect this dude.
Let me tell you,
amazing.
I'll tell you this, and I've been around for a while. This is the best prospect I have seen since Floyd Mayweather. Since
Yes.
Mikey Garcia?
Yes.
no,
Who you talking
Spence.
about? Errol. Oh yeah.
Errol Spence.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
he's the best prospect. He's now contender level.
No doubt about it.
He's the best that I've seen since.
And the most
since then.
feared fighter I've ever seen in my entire life.
I've never seen a fighter.
I've never
so
seen.
ducked.
I mean, Rigo is up there too. But I mean, when you talk to people, you could just sense the respect that every trainer boxer has for Errol Spence. Like, you know, all from you know, Team Porter. Shout out to Team Porter, Keith Thurman, all of them. They show a hell of a respect level for Errol Spence. Like when I just interviewed Sean and Kenny this past weekend, they told me that Kell Brook never wanted that fight, and if he takes it, he ain't gonna win. You know what I mean? So that just tells you something right there. Nobody wants to fight him, and yet you got trainer Kenny Porter saying that, you know, Kell Brook doesn't stand a chance against a guy who hasn't even fought on that level yet. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, man.
That's the boogeyman.
That's
I
the
know.
boogeyman. But hey, man.
I got four things to say, and I'm gonna let y'all get back to the show, and I'm gonna sit back and enjoy it. But I just want to say this: when Leon Love got beat for I don't know how many times he's lost, but it was his first loss.
A knockout.
I was actually at the fight,
Porky
and
Medina.
Boyd was there.
I think it was.
And then I don't know if it was Ellie or somebody asked Floyd, "Hey Floyd, what do you think about Mikey Garcia?" The expression on Floyd's face when they told him how elated he was to even begin to speak about Mikey. That's the first time I ever started paying attention to Mikey, because I never did until then.
Oh,
When
Floyd.
I saw Floyd's face and how much he looked like ecstatic to want to even mention this guy's name,
He's been courting Mikey
I
for
knew
a while.
that's when I started paying attention to him. And that's why I'm so high on Mikey. But I'm
Yeah.
going to let you get to it. I'm going to go back and enjoy the show, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you,
Hey,
fam. I
thanks, fam.
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Emmanuel Gustus out in Louisiana. Hey, but yeah,
And Floyd has always been big on Mikey.
He
Mikey,
has. He's
listen,
been
man,
courting
Mikey
him
is a
for-
beast.
yeah.
I mean, what he did to Zatichinen, and I don't want anyone to take credit away, like we were saying earlier, from Mikey saying, oh, you know, he just beat a bum. We're not doing that shit that they
No.
tried to do with Javante when he knocked out Pedraza.
Pedraza,
Try
yes.
to take credit away once he get the win.
Yes.
I told you guys last week that this is the best opponent on paper that Mikey has faced, and this should be a tough fight. And Mikey made it look extremely easy.
Yes.
So, you know, I got so much more respect for Mikey. Mikey is better than I even thought. I mean, I always knew he was a beast, but I didn't know he was that damn good.
He is
I
that
mean, to
damn
make it
good.
look so that easy, and if he beats Robert Easter, you know, I don't think I'm ever pick anyone against him. Well, unless he goes against Terrence Crawford, you know. But outside of Terrence, and to me, I even feel the Terrence Crawford fight is a 50-50 fight. You know, I don't even see. I don't even see
I
that
can go
as
with
a.
that too.
I don't
Yeah,
see it
I don't
as
see it.
Crawford. I don't see Crawford dog walking Mikey. I see that as a very, very competitive fight where both fighters could get knocked down too.
Yes.
You know, so I want to see these fights, man. I really want to see these fights.
almost definitely.
But let's try to touch.
about,
Go ahead.
Oh no. Go ahead. I know.
Frampton, let's touch on this. You know, this we was talking about this, Milt. We need to continue where we left off on that conversation. So Frampton loses to Leo Santa Cruz, and now they talking about damn near getting married and fighting every 6 months. You know, I mean, Carl Frampton,
Let it go.
Leo Santa Cruz
Let
said,
it go.
he said, oh, I
That's
owe it
enough,
to him.
man.
I owe it to him. And Frampton said, oh, we can do it like we might do this 4 or 5 times. I mean, do we need to see it that many times,
We
Milton?
do not need to see this fight that many times. We don't need to see it a third, if you ask me, because I don't think that it's going to go any different than this last fight.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this though, Leo really impressed me with his footwork,
His boxing ability,
his
boxing range.
He stayed tall.
Yeah.
He wasn't wildly throwing punches. He dropped his punch output, but he increased his accuracy. And I got to give it to him. I really thought that he was going to come in with the head down Mexican style that is built for Frampton, and to be countered. And I will say that he adjusted. He made adjustments. He came in and he won that fight, man.
Oh yeah! Congratulations to Leo Santa Cruz.
Congratulations.
He controlled him with range, beautiful jab. He showed that he could box better than people thought he could.
Yes.
You know, you do have to remember he has an amateur background where he fought a lot of American fighters.
True.
So
He does have good pedigree.
Yeah, so that automatically boosts your level of boxing. But with that being said, yeah, man, I mean, this is the thing. Neither one of these guys are the best fighters at the featherweight division. So why do we have to keep seeing them fight over and over for second or third place?
Let it go.
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, once again, I mean, and even if they are going to fight a third time, at least fight other fighters. One of you guys fight Gary Russell. One of you guys fight Oscar Valdez.
Right.
And then once you guys win, then come back and do a trilogy. But why say,
because whoever's fighting Gary Russell is not going to win.
They know what time it is on that. Nobody beating Gary Russell, man.
Hell no, man.
And Carl Frampton, he made that clear. I asked Carl Frampton at the media workout, I said, who would you say is the most well-rounded, most toughest fight for you if you were to face them? He didn't even hesitate. He said Gary Russell Jr.
Oh, yeah, man.
He said Gary Russell Jr.
Yeah.
He didn't even hesitate. So we already know. So it's not just me. When I tell you guys nobody beating him and he's the best there, I'm not the only one saying that, okay? You got people like Carl Frampton saying the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty much what that is. But, but Kirk, so what do you think about that? I mean, yeah, is it necessary for them to fight 3-4 times? I mean, what should they do now?
I mean, I think we do have to see the third fight. I'm not sure at what time we'll see it. I like the suggestion you guys pointed out. They should fight other guys first and then maybe link up one last time for a third and final fight, just because both fights that they had already were very competitive fight of the year candidate fights. But definitely, they're not going to fight Gary Russell.
Yeah,
he's avoided for a reason.
Yes.
So we'll probably see them, have maybe touch-up fights against a lesser opposition and build up to their trilogy fight. And I think, unfortunately, Gary Russell will get left out the picture.
You know what, man? I don't know. The only good thing for Gary Russell is the fact that all of these guys, at least the majority of them, well, not all of them, I take that back. Carl Frampton, of course, Gary Russell, and I guess that's it. I'm trying to figure out who's with Al Heyman. I think it's just Frampton and Gary Russell. Oh, and Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Mares. So
that's right. And he's got a title now.
Yeah. We talk about that. He said he felt like he was working at McDonald's when he was at Golden Boy. He said he felt like he a lawyer now. But that's another conversation. We're going to talk about that too.
All right.
We might see Mares in Santa Cruz again.
What's up? That would be a good fight. Yeah, I would rather see that next. I would rather see Cruz versus Mares next. But anyway,
they could go back on that one.
Let me introduce my man Arab King. He on the line right now. What's going on, AK?
Yeah, what's up, Dante?
All right, man. So go ahead.
I mean, look, man. I understand, man. I would rather see neither of those fights. I'd rather see them fight other people, man.
Yeah, the best. You want to see them fight the best.
Yeah.
And
I mean, don't get me wrong. If Santa Cruz and Frampton was number 1 and number 2 in the division, and they fought each other, and it's a trilogy fight, I'm all for it. But when you got when they just number 3 and number 5 in the division, I don't want to see that. You know what I
No,
mean?
man.
Like I want to see them fight Gary Russell and all the champions of that division.
Move it around.
You
Yeah.
know, like you know, if it's gonna be a trilogy, let it be Barrera versus Morales type of trilogy.
You know, right?
Not
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
top 5 type of trilogy.
Yeah, I totally
Like, I mean,
agree.
you know, it's all.
And
It's
even
all
with
cool.
them,
Trilogies are cool, but Ward versus Gotti, you know what I mean? Like, I never really was all for it like that. I mean, unless it's the best versus the best, you know, I'm all in it for, you know.
I'm with you.
They're going to fight each other like 3 times or 4 times.
Check it,
they,
AK.
If they're the best in their division.
check this out, AK. You hit the nail right on the head. But even with Babyface and Morales, they didn't go straight back to back.
Yes, absolutely.
Even
Absolutely.
Pacquiao
And
Marquez, even
Marquez.
Pacquiao Marquez,
Yeah.
even those wars, they weren't straight back
Yeah,
to back. They had
yes.
other fighters in between them.
Absolutely.
So it is not like they just got 6 months later. We got to do this all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah.
We've seen all we
Yeah,
can
they
see.
they doing that to avoid the competition.
I think
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what that's what it is. I mean, I'm not.
The other fighters.
That's
They are, and then their performance of the fight, you know, with the fans, you know, being so captivated by, you know, how it was back and forth action, and you know, the networks like that. That's what they can
Of
use
course.
to promote boxing in a
Yep.
positive way. Of
And
course,
both
don't
of-
bank on that. They can rely on that. So,
both of them have huge fan
unfortunately,
bases.
We're probably going to end up seeing them again, even though they are great for each other matchup wise. It's just that competition wise, you want to see them fight.
yeah.
better-
That's
better opposition.
that's what it is. So and also what is his name? Miguel Burchelt. Congratulations to Miguel. Hopefully I pronounced that name right. He stopped Francisco Vargas this weekend.
Yeah, man.
Elaborate on that. You watched that fight pretty close, Milton.
I really did, man. And the thing is, first of all, I got to, even in this loss, I take my hat off to Francisco Vargas, man, a warrior to the end. But this man, this was just a third war in a row, and the man is taking some serious punishment, man. But let me tell you, I really underestimated his opponent. I didn't really think that the kid was going to be that good. But I mean, the kid was 31-0 with 31-1 with 28 knockouts, I think it was. So obviously he has power, but I just didn't think he would be able to match power for power with Vargas. But let me tell you, he opened him up, man. He was gushing blood. I mean, he beat him to a pulp. And I was happy that the referee went ahead and stopped that fight in the 11th because he wasn't going to stop this kid. And so I was really happy to see the referee step in and stop that fight.
And once again, you know, this makes me reference Roman Gonzalez. The reason why I bring that up is because this is what I mean, guys. When you have fighters who's getting hit a lot, you've seen how Roman got busted up against Kudras.
Yeah.
Fighters like this do not last long in the sport of boxing, especially when they step up in competition. You got fighters like Inoue or Inoue, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah.
You got the rematch, the Kudras rematch, and you got other fighters that are constantly emerging, you know, when it comes to that division. And you know, and Roman may have to move up because Roman is a big fighter. He's not a small guy like Rigo. He walks around at about 125, 122. So, you know, you got this level of competition. And I'm telling you, that's what happened with Francisco Vargas. Fighters like that do not last long. Defense is more important than offense in this game. I'm telling you right now, that's why the majority of times, the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, they have a great defense.
Yeah, and I will tell you this too. Miura took a lot of punishment. He had to dig deep to get a stoppage. Miguel Roman, I think it was.
Oh, yeah,
on that same
on
card.
the undercard.
Yeah, man. It was both of those fights were two wars. And Miura, he's been through and taking a lot of damage, man, a lot of punishment too, man. Speaking of something, and I wanted to clear something up with you that I never discussed with you before. This is the second part of the Triple G segment of the show. But I will say this, man. I don't put Triple G into the pound for pound category. I don't. I think he's a solid middleweight. I think he is the best middleweight in the world. I don't think
Which we
anybody
agree.
beats him at middleweight. But when you talking pound for pound, you talking about skills, power, it translates to other weight classes. I don't think his skill set, if he was fighting at a smaller weight class, I don't think he had the hand speed, footwork, or whatever to fight below 154. You know, like that. The style that he has doesn't translate well to other weight classes.
Yeah, which is
So-
like goes back to the Roman situation, similar.
And so when you talking pound for pound fighters, you know, some fighters, they fight very well at a particular weight class. Oh man, Devin Alexander was a prime example.
Yeah.
That kid, man,
He couldn't carry that power
he
up.
couldn't carry the power up. I don't know what happened with him.
Man, all of a sudden he looked super feather fisted.
my
He
God,
was
man.
one of the most feather fisted looking fighters I've seen to move up in weight. And you know, because
Amir
he looked like a beast when he was at junior. What was it? Junior junior welterweight.
Junior
140, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was a beast at 140.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
a beast at 140. But when
Yeah.
he moved up to 147, man, it was like real pillow fist. I mean, at least that's the way his opponents were reacting when they got hit. You know
what makes it? You know what makes it so bad? I think he's the best. The Amir Khan has never looked better in the past 5 years than he did against Devin Alexander. I watched that. Yeah.
Amir Khan always looks good against boxers, though. It's crazy because usually fighters, they don't look good against boxers. Amir Khan almost always looks good against boxers. He looked great against Zab Judah. He looked great against Malignaggi, and he looked fantastic against Alexander. So, you know, it's the guys who pressure Amir Khan that exposes him, like Lamont
Good point,
Peterson,
man. Really good point.
Algieri. You know, the people who pressured him, they made him look, he just fell apart when he fought against those fighters. But it's usually the other way around, though.
Usually.
So, yeah. And before you know, I want to get this news in before Milton get out of here. What you think about this upgrade, man? Deontay Wilder versus Gerald Washington. This is a huge upgrade, Milton. I can't wait to see this fight. What was your reaction when you heard the news?
I'm very pleased to see this. You know, this is at a level of competition, I think, for Deontay, to where he's going to be tested by this power puncher. You know, I just was thinking about, because when I was like, who is this guy? And I remember him not too long ago, him and Mansoor fought to a draw.
Yeah, Mansoor.
Yeah.
And he also fought. He fought another prospect. Didn't he fight another prospect?
Yeah, he fought since then, but it was.
I gotta look that up real quick.
I have to look it up real quick myself.
Or you guys tell me in the comment section, who else did Gerald Washington fight? Yeah, he fought another prospect.
Eddie Chambers and Ray Austin.
Oh, Ray Austin.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Eddie Chambers was who I was thinking about, but of course, you know, Eddie Chambers, Fast Eddie. You know,
I like it for Deontay, but I watched the segment, man, not too long ago where Deontay, he was just coming back off the surgery and he was hitting the bag, and his doctor was like, "Hey, man, you got to have the confidence. It's there. You are fully healed. You can hit as hard as you want to. It should be fine." But he was still a little bit timid on throwing that right hand.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see him kind of get a tune up into where, you know, it's somebody that's going to give him some good.
Yeah, because this ain't no tune-up.
This ain't no tune-up. This
ain't
is
no tune-up fight.
This guy will come in there and take his head off. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, you don't carry the strap for nothing. If you got it, people want it. You can't you can't hide it.
I mean,
and it's not that he was trying. The man been hurt, but
and
I like to see this fight though.
And once again, Kirk, this is an impressive step up because this is the best opponent since he fought against Bermane Stiverne. I mean, would you agree with that, Kirk?
I definitely would, and I want to give a shout out to Mr. Washington because he's from my hood. So,
Vallejo,
you know,
or Carson, or what?
Vallejo.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's always good to see him get that opportunity and get that shot, and he poses a lot of problems for any fighter out there due to his size.
His
and
size.
he's very
What is he?
athletic.
6'6", 6'5", 6'6"?
Yeah, 6'6" or 6, something like that. And they said, Team Wilder, they said they wanted to face a guy like this to prepare them for the other, you know, Anthony Joshua's, the Joseph Parkers. So this is perfect. I mean, you know,
because the Molinas just ain't gonna get it.
No. And the however you say that, you know, Warezik. There we go. And they can't even pass no damn PED test any damn way, which is another story that we'll get into.
Oh man,
they were saying that Wilder was ducking Luis Ortiz because he kind of threw his hat in the mix because he wanted to get in there and be a replacement.
Hey, but what did y'all think about what he said for the reason why he didn't want to fight King Kong?
Did Wilder say something about it?
Well, they mentioned his promoter. It mentioned that, hey, this guy's tested positive for PEDs in the past himself. So they want to try to steer clear of anybody that's connected with PEDs.
Well, I mean, but that might not be the most solid reason not to take the fight, because Wilder already just recently said that even if Povetkin, comes back to the table clean, he'll take that fight. So, I don't really know about that.
I'm just saying.
But the Gerald Washington,
I didn't know about it either.
but clearly the Gerald Washington fight makes more sense because he was already fighting on that undercard. You know what I mean? He was already fighting on the undercard. That's why they made this fight so quick.
Gotcha.
Because he was already on the undercard. So that fight makes sense. And you can't complain about Gerald Washington as an opponent. If Wilder goes in there and knocks out an undefeated top prospect like Gerald Washington, that would be very impressive. And I would love to hear what the decals got to say. Maybe they'll give him a loan on that Hope insurance card, So we'll see.
And he fought on Wilder's last undercard, too. He fought Ray Austin on the Wilder
that's
undercard.
right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're right.
Because there was even talks that, go ahead, AK.
Yeah, another thing, you can't take Ortiz fight on short notice, man. I mean, that's you're talking about the best heavyweight out there. If
right.
You're gonna fight him, you need a full.
Yeah, you got to prepare. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and another month on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's Ortiz. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't blame him for not fighting Ortiz, and he's coming off hand surgery. So I mean, if he doesn't fight him in the future, then that's a duck. But right now, I feel like, you know what I mean, he need an easier touch, and he already fought Washington, so that's a great fight in itself.
It's a great fight.
Yeah,
it's a great fight. Now if he would have, turned down Ortiz and said, "I'm a, give Molina a rematch or something like that," then we would have to say something real bad. Then, but he didn't do that. His opponent Warizik, he pulled out, or didn't pull out, but he failed his drug test, and Deontay Wilder, he stepped his game up. And he didn't even hesitate.
Nope.
It wasn't.
So
it wasn't Wilder.
Hats off to him.
Yeah, it wasn't Wilder that was hesitating to take this fight. It was actually Washington who they had to wait and get a response from.
Oh wow.
So
because I'll tell you this, it's one fight that I always keep in mind that was recent. Of somebody, this young kid got derailed because they threw in a killer as a replacement for him, and that was Antoine Douglas against Kurzice. At the last minute. They threw this.
Antoine's my boy.
Huh?
Antoine. Yeah, that.
Man, I want to see that kid.
Hopefully he could come back because he's still special.
Back, man.
He's still special.
He is,
and
man.
he showed a lot of heart in that Kurzice fight, man.
He did. But Kurzice, that was a bridge too far.
Yeah.
That was just a little bit too much competition, especially at such short notice.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just put a fighter in there, man, with somebody you know is solid and it's at such short notice. I would have hated for them to throw Ortiz and Wilder together. And he's not throwing the right hand correctly, and it's I'm like, yeah, man, but this is still no slouch.
No doubt about it.
I'm saying? This is still going to be a tough
undefeated.
Fight for him.
Like I said, this is just as big as the Bermain Stavern fight. It may even be bigger, because once again, the height, the determination of an undefeated fighter, never lost before, strong guy. Willing to jump in there with the heavyweight champion. I can't wait to see it.
I can't either. I'm still going with Deontay. I'm going with Deontay.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That left hand makes up for any flaw that Deontay Wilder has.
Yeah.
So, man, I was going to say something else, but let's go ahead and take another call. Oh, by the way, Kurzice say he needs to fight Billy Joe Saunders too.
I think they're trying to put that together, but I don't think Billy
don't want it.
He don't want
Billy
that
don't want that work, man. What was you about to say?
No, I'm just gonna have to sign off, man.
Oh yeah,
dang, man. That was a quick 45.
Yeah, it went fast.
It's always a pleasure. AK, Kurt, man, y'all take it easy, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right, man. That's my man Milton, man. Hey, you'll be back next week.
Oh, for sure.
As always, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, we get that cracking, and let's go ahead and move on. All right, man. Take care, brother.
All right. Peace out, DontaesBoxingNation.
Peace, sir.
Yep. So, what was you about to say, Kirk?
Oh, I was going to say with Washington, I think his last 3 fights really helps him prepare for this fight. I mean, fighting Amir Mansour and going the long distance, getting those rounds in, then fighting a guy who's fast and experienced like Eddie Chambers, and then fighting Ray Austin. I mean, it's going to be a really tough fight, I think, for Wilder. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, man. It's just, once again, I mean, like I said, yeah, you go to that experience, but the one thing with Deontay Wilder, and like I said, what really makes him so special, that damn right hand that he has, man. That right hand is undamn believable, So I mean, it'll really be interesting to see how he deals with that. AK, how do you see that fight playing out, man?
I just wanted to say, he has a great right hand, but his downfall would be his right hand too, because sometimes he try to time you in, coming in with a right hand, and then he overextend it. And,
that's true.
I mean, he'd be so exposed sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like,
yeah.
He'd be so open for counters. If you could make him miss like that and counter him, it could be night-night for him as well. So it's like, it could be his downfall as well. So today, I'm looking forward to this fight, man. So I didn't think. I mean, but
you what? I didn't catch that last part.
I'm back.
Okay, you start breaking up at the end. But anyway, let me go ahead and take another call, man. I appreciate everybody staying on hold. Let's go ahead and get somebody. We got 612. What's going on, 612?
Oh, what's going on? I'm finally on DontaesBoxingNation. I'm a first-time caller.
That's what's
Anyway, my name is BJ. I'm calling out of Minnesota.
Minnesota, that's what it is, man. What's good with you, fam?
Oh, not a thing, man. Not a thing. And I really just wanted to comment because I think that a lot of people are underestimating many of our people because, not only is he from my hometown, but he is a difficult style of fighter.
No doubt.
He has one of those styles. He has a long reach. He can also show in that co-main fight that he can fight on the inside if needed. But he preferably fights on the outside, and he wants to hit you with the right hand. But
yeah.
I think that honestly, if anything right now, if there's one person I want to see Mikey Garcia fight next, is the common opponent, which is Richard Coleman. I want to see how well he does against him.
Yeah.
That's what I would love to see, is that. I would love to see how well he does against him. And then that could be sort of a build-up to that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Mikey Garcia, I mean, he's probably the biggest threat. I mean, him taking a 2.5-year layoff, he was still the biggest threat, with either 135 or 3. And he showed up. He did exactly what they expected him to do. Now, of course, we all knew this Mexican guy. I mean, I've heard of him in a few fights, but didn't know that he was going to be out expecting to score at least 7 or 8 rounds at the most.
Yeah.
But for him to do what he did was incredible.
Yeah, that's true. AK, what do you think about what he just said, AK?
Man, I mean that he put the banana on the pudding. I mean, I would like to see that as well. If Danny Garcia, if Mikey Garcia don't want to take Robert Easter fight right away, that'd be a nice tune-up for a huge fight like that, and we could see. It won't even be a tune-up. We would actually see Mikey Garcia in a real fight. I mean, his last fight, the guy he beat for the belt was a good fight. But at the end of the day, he was tailor-made for his style. However, Robert Easter is the kryptonite of his style. Believe me.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, once again, like I said, I don't see anybody beating Mikey Garcia, but that would be a good test, though. It would be a good preparation for Robert Easter. I mean, yeah, man.
So you think Lomachenko? If Lomachenko moves up to 135, who would you pick?
Say it again. Hey, bro, I just letting you know your background is kind of loud, dog, in the back. I could barely hear what your background, but talking to my man. I'm talking to my man 612. But anyway, hey, well,
Yeah, I know.
thanks for your call, brother. We're gonna let you go, man. Thanks for your call, man. Okay, go ahead. I could barely hear what was going on, man. I didn't even hear everything. What'd you say, AK?
If Loma fight Mikey Garcia 135, who you pick?
If Loma, man, I got Loma, dog. I think I don't see anybody beating Loma outside of him going up to 140. And even Loma himself said that Terrence Crawford is the only one that he really respects, when it comes to competing with him. And that's what Lomachenko said. I don't see, and once again, I don't want any fighters to take it personal. If I pick, one guy to win, but I don't see anybody beating Lomachenko. When I say anybody, I can't see it. I mean, Gary Russell Jr. will probably do better in the rematch, but I don't even know if Gary Russell can beat Lomachenko right now. Loma's on another level. I mean, but it would be interesting to see how Lomachenko deals with another pressure fighter like Orlando Salido, but a guy that's not, well past his prime and everything. So, that's pretty much how I see that. But
and you picking Mikey. You would pick Mikey over Robert Easter?
I'm picking Robert. I was the only one on the panel. Everybody else said that, I was crazy and I was smoking some good when I said that, But I think Robert Easter. I think Robert Easter he beats him. Matter of fact, we didn't get your take on that because AK, Kirk Jackson, I had a caller who called in, and Milton. They all said that Mikey Garcia wins that fight due to experience, et cetera, et cetera. What's your take on that fight?
Yeah, even though Mikey looked good in his last fight, you know what I mean, and he knocked him out cold, but at the end of the day, he never really fought a slicker. He never fought a slick fighter, somebody who had more reach than him and taller than him and who could box though. You know what I mean? Like, and has a slick fighter style. And Robert Easter brings that to the table. And I feel like that's gonna be Mikey Garcia's weakness, because then we get to see what he could really do. So I'll have to go with Robert Easter because of stylistically it will favor Robert Easter. You know what I mean? But I mean, as far as any pressure fighter, or somebody who just come forward, they just can't be Mikey Garcia because they literally tailor-made for his style. Because two things Mikey Garcia good at the most is that he has a lot of power and he's very accurate. So if you run into his power, you even doubling the impact. So you ain't beating him like that. You have to either box him, you know what I mean, or have like. And I mean, Robert Easter has so many advantages over him as far as height and reach.
Yeah,
and he don't, and he just and he hit as hard as Mikey Garcia as well. So that's why I have to go with Robert Easter.
Yeah, I mean, like you
great point.
Yes, yeah, man. I mean, once again, the boxing IQ, and that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier. You really don't know how good a fighter really is until they get in the ring with a slick type of fighter. Because those type of styles present the most problems. So that's why, it'll be interesting to see how a fight like that will play out. Once again, I see Mikey Garcia beating everyone else except for Robert Easter. So let's try to take another call real quick. Let's see what we got here. We got 240 on the phone. 240, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Dante, man? How you doing, man?
All right, man. Where you calling from,
Good,
man?
I'm calling from the Washington, D.C., Maryland area.
Oh, okay. Where all the talent is. That's what's up.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm just one of those old school guys, man, who had the privilege to grow up and watch Sugar Ray Leonard train for the Olympics. And
nice.
My family, we just love boxing so much, man. And I heard a comment earlier, about 45 minutes ago, about Earl Spence. And this guy is so good, man. He brought my family back into boxing, and my family had stopped watching boxing altogether until they saw him fight.
Interesting.
And that's the impact. That's the impact that I hope boxing understand that Earl Spence has on the sport. That he actually brought somebody that's 65, 70 years old back to watching boxing.
Yeah.
After not watching boxing no more after Mike Tyson, like my family checked out after Mike Tyson. But when they watch Earl Spence fight, man, they like that kid did. I want to watch him fight, man. I want to see all his fights, man.
And
because I think he just, not to talk so much about him, but he just embodies to me everything about a fighter. He has it in him. Everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, man. I totally agree. And
then another question about the Mikey Garcia and Wilder Easter fight. I think we can get a treat out of that. I think that could almost be a rematch, or we might be able to get a trilogy out of that fight if it happens.
Yeah, I agree, because the Comey Robert Easter fight almost looked like that. And once again, man, I completely feel that Robert Easter, he was battle tested in that Comey fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any questions you had about Robert Easter, all of the questions were answered in that fight. Can he take a punch? Can he deal with pressure?
Yeah.
Can he fight on the ropes?
Yeah.
Can he fight on the inside, on the outside?
And can he make adjustments?
Can he make adjustments?
I think the thing I learned the most about that fight was his corner.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see how well his corner was going to adjust between different rounds. And I saw that they're good also. I mean, he has a good corner too.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I watched, as the fight was progressing, I watched some changes in him. And there was some moments where he had to suck it up, and he did. So he is a legit fighter. But Dante, is one fight I want to ask you a question about. What's going on with this guy Arthur Beterbiev? Because I like him a whole lot, man.
Oh man, yeah, he's a beast, man. Matter of fact, he's in negotiations with Sullivan Barrera right now. And from what I gather, they got the purse bid coming up, and they're supposed to be fighting if Arthur Beterbiev takes the fight. The fight will be, I think, sometime around March or April. But once again, but Beterbiev is saying that he only wants to fight Barrera in Canada, and coincidentally, Barrera, he can't fight in Canada. You know what I mean? So that's that's the roadblock right now that may get in the way of that fight. But Arthur Beterbiev, yeah, he's a beast, man. And I'm going to tell you, if he gets in the ring with Sullivan Barrera, we'll really know how good Beterbiev is, because Barrera's no joke. He just...
absolutely.
People see he lost to Andre Ward, and you kind of just write off fighters just because they have a loss, but it was Ward that he lost to. You know what I mean? And
because Dante, I'm a diehard Andre Ward fan. But Beterbiev, to me, would pose a problem to any fighter in his weight class.
Oh, no doubt about it. Beterbiev is no joke. He's no joke. But like I was saying, when you have these type of slick, intelligent fighters that's ring savvy,
there you go.
That then we will really know how good he is when it comes to Arthur. So when he gets in the ring with Barrera, then we'll know how good he is. One thing I noticed is he was getting hit a little too much against the lesser competition. He got knocked down, I believe. Was it once?
He sure did.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with getting knocked down. I mean, you can make a mistake like that. But we have to figure out if this is something that's repetitive, or did he learn from it? And we'll know that when he fights against Barrera.
Well, Dante, I went from Sugar Ray Leonard, and it took me all the way until Tito Trinidad before I found another fighter that I really love watching the fight. And there were a lot of other fights in between that I enjoyed watching a lot, from the Sweet Peas to the Priors to all of them. I had all of them. But I really enjoyed Tito. But when I got
Tito,
when I got to the point, oh man,
Tito versus Fernando Vargas. That's one of my favorite fighters of all. My favorite fights of all time, man. Yeah,
actually,
and Yuri Boy Campus.
Oh man, actually, I think that was one of Freddie Pacheco's best announcements he ever did of a fight, when he did the Tito and Yuri Boy Campus fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just remember Tito going into that fight, and he had the reputation. He had the reputation to always get knocked down. Everybody thought he was going to get knocked out.
Exactly.
Yuri Boy Campus.
Dante,
go ahead.
Yuri Boy was like 55-0.
Yeah, he was
knockouts. He had some crazy record or something like that.
Yeah, he was basically the new Julio Cesar Chavez. That's what they was building him to be.
Yeah. All right, now, Dante, I got a question for you, man. How do you feel about the prospect Felix Verdejo?
Felix Verdejo is a beast, man. I mean, it's time to see.
He had his little accident.
Yeah, he had his accident and everything. And, I'm just waiting for him. You know what? Honestly, he's another fighter that I think would give Fighters like Lomachenko and even Mikey Garcia.
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, I think you know what? It's interesting you bring him up because you're right. That him against Mikey Garcia, that would be a hell of a fight. That would be a hell of a fight. And then you got the Puerto Rican Mexican rivalry too. So that would be a real good fight right there.
I watched Felix. I still think he got maybe 1 or 2 more fights in him. I think maybe 1 more fight. Because the boy hit like a horse, man.
Yeah.
But I just think that he needs maybe 1 or 2 more tune-ups. But I think he can cause a problem for any of those fighters, man.
Yeah, I mean,
he has 2 fights lined up already. He has a fight this weekend, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who is he fighting against? Because I haven't even checked up on that. Who is he fighting against, Kurt?
He's fighting Oliver Flores.
Yeah,
okay.
He's fighting in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, he's fighting in Puerto Rico, and then again he's going to be fighting in June around the Puerto Rican Day Parade too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like him.
They building him up too slowly, though. They building him up. Top Rank building him up too slowly. He could have been fighting for the title.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. That guy. I mean, I watched his first couple of fights, man. He was ready to go, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why they're building him up so slow. It's not like he can't. You know what I mean? Like he has a lot of skills, and he shows it in his fights.
Yeah.
And, look at Floyd Mayweather with his Tank Davis. It took him a year with Floyd to get a title, and he became a champion already. I feel like Flex Verdejo could have been a champion, but the fact that he haven't really fought nobody on top like that is you have to give Mikey Garcia the edge, even though you would think Flex Verdejo will be the winner of that fight, but because of experience, you're gonna have to pick Mikey Garcia.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
And I had to let
that could be a coming out party for Verdejo.
Mm-hmm.
That fight.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. You're right. They are kind of moving him too slow. Let's talk a little bit about this Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight. AK, go ahead and break down this pay-per-view interview that Conor McGregor did, and give me your thoughts on the whole situation, AK.
Yeah, well, Conor McGregor, he hosted a pay-per-view just answering questions, and he did a pay-per-view for that. And he also, attended an arena where 5,000 people had it. I think 5,000 people attended it. And because of that, he was answering a lot of questions. It was an hour interview. And
hell of a promoter,
they asked
man.
him about the Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather. They were asking him about the Floyd Mayweather fight.
And basically, he was just talking a whole lot of shit. He was talking about.
He started talking about that. He want to fight Floyd Mayweather and fuck the UFC, fuck boxing, fuck you. And he said all type of crazy shit. But the crazy part is he hosted this pay-per-view answering a question thing during the UFC fight. So he's almost competing with the UFC, and he's telling the people, I'm bigger than the UFC. I mean, I probably got more. I probably sold more pay-per-views than they're gonna sell on the UFC card. He's just talking trash basically to the UFC, taking shots, and he's saying he will. He will fight Floyd Mayweather with or without the UFC because of the Ali Act. And if the UFC allows the John Jones and other fighters like that to go compete in other sports, kind of like jiu-jitsu and all that, why can't I go to boxing?
Which is a good point. Which is a really good point.
Another point. So he's trying to make this fight either with them or without them, but he said he would rather have it with them. But if they don't, he's gonna try to pursue this without them, and he's gonna also fly to New York. I mean, not New York, Las Vegas, and he's gonna meet with Floyd. He's gonna try to meet with Floyd, and this and that. So Conor McGregor is serious about this, and he's really. I feel like now more than ever, I honestly, truly believe this fight is actually gonna happen after watching that hour interview. Because of that, because if Floyd Mayweather wants it, Conor McGregor wants it. It's only the UFC trying to stop it from happening because it's gonna make their brand look bad. But other than that, if they get enough money for where they could say, we could use the excuse of, Conor McGregor is just a UFC fighter. He's not a boxer. I mean, if they was in a street fight, he would have had won. Then I think they're gonna let it go, but we'll see.
Yeah, and you know something else, and that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, when he keeps making these excuses, when you hear Conor saying, "Oh, you know what, Floyd? You know he just wants rules," and yeah, if this was in the streets, you man, forget about all of this if. Because you know what you're signing up for. All Conor is trying to do, he's trying to make excuses for if he gets knocked the fuck out. You know, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you get knocked the fuck out, ain't nobody going to care of if it was in the streets or not. You know, if you get knocked out, that's going to really, really, you know, hurt his reputation. I mean, of course, he could go back to MMA, and this is what Dana White is worried about. He's worried about not only this hurting Conor McGregor's reputation, but also hurting the UFC's reputation, because they don't want people knowing about, or they don't want people seeing boxers knocking out the biggest star in the UFC. Matter of fact, this is funny because I talked to you about this earlier, AK. A lot of people are not even familiar with the former heavyweight champion, the former UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Tim Silva. A lot of people don't even know that he actually got into an octagon. He fought against a boxer, a 50-year-old boxer. It was Ray Mercer in the octagon, and Ray Mercer knocked out a young Tim Silva in, you know, basically damn near still in his prime, knocked him out in the octagon. You guys never hear about that anymore. They buried that story because they do not want anyone knowing that this man, any UFC or any MMA fighter, lost to a boxer in an octagon. So you know, if you pay attention to how they buried that story, imagine how much this is going to hurt the image of the UFC because of their rivalry they have with boxing. You know what I'm saying? Because they, you know, everybody always talking this, you know, UFC versus boxing. And we all know, of course, if Floyd were to get in the octagon, we know that he will most likely lose. But the fact that Conor McGregor is going to come over to boxing and possibly get knocked out by Floyd, it's going to be a bad look. And that's what Dana White is worried about at the end of the day. Kirk, was you about to say something on that?
I was going to say, yeah, it's great points. And whenever UFC brings up the hypothetical match between a boxer and an MMA fighter, they always point to the old, retired, out-of-shape James Toney.
Yeah.
When he fought, what's his name, Randy Couture. It's like James Toney was eating cheeseburgers and didn't even train for the fight. So,
yeah,
I mean, I can't even really choose that. And I think you both hit the nail on the head. They just they're never going to give boxers their due, really. And it's like whenever they bring up this argument, oh, well, an MMA fighter will beat a boxer in the streets, they forget many boxers, we come from the streets. Like, we know how to handle ourselves in the streets.
And in the streets, anything goes. In the streets, anything goes. Exactly. So if you're talking about no rules, you know what I'm saying? Anything could happen in the streets. So
you could grab a rock and hit somebody.
Yeah. But if you want to say no rules, anything, you could do anything. So yeah, that don't. And once again, these are not thugs. These are professionals. The perfect analogy that I use is that's just like, you know, a football player or someone said, oh, I would beat that basketball player if there were no rules. If I could tackle his ass or if I could punch him in the face before he tries to shoot the ball, I bet you he wouldn't beat me in no basketball match. You know what I'm saying? So you can't sit over here and say there are no rules, because you gotta, if you believe you better than that person and you willing to sign up and get into that man's boxing ring, then there's nothing you should be complaining about. So
yeah, and Dante, the thing about it, like, Conor McGregor was the one who started talking shit about Floyd. Floyd never mentioned Conor McGregor. It was Conor McGregor. He was asked about Floyd, and he was like, I dance with him in the ring. I knock his ass out too. You know what I mean? And he the one who kept mentioning fighting Floyd Mayweather in the ring, in a boxing ring, and he kept saying he will beat Floyd. He will knock him out. Either he believed it or not, but he the one who said so, and he the one who got his boxing license. So you can't go to somebody's territory and then when they beat your ass, you be like, oh, but if you fight me in my territory, I can beat you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you went to his territory, like, you know what I mean? And another, you know, that was another good point. You know what I mean? That Tony was out of shape, and not just out of shape, and he was in boxing. He was just washed up, like. That's not no prime James Toney. You know what I mean? And then you think about it, in the UFC, Ronda Rousey, their biggest star, lost to a kickboxer, half boxer, you could say, which is, she had good boxing skills, and look what she did to Ronda Rousey in the UFC.
Yeah, and on
top, the UFC, they've made their name. Trying to bring up Floyd Mayweather, bring up Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. They built their stars around attaching their stars to these boxing icons and boxing figures of the sport. So I mean, that's what they do. And if I'm a Conor McGregor fan, I'd be concerned because, to me, he's hinting towards retirement because he's trying to get the biggest fight out there against Floyd Mayweather. Like he has this perception that he's a warrior's warrior and he'll fight anyone under any discipline. That's what they want to project. He'll fight anyone in any circumstance. But if you're trying to get that shortcut to the pot of gold in fighting Floyd Mayweather, you couldn't even get your boxing license in Nevada, and you're not going to take any tune-up fights. You're not going to fight a Paulie Malignaggi or another fighter.
Yeah, that's
retarded.
Level.
You're gonna go straight to Floyd. That lets me know you're going to get your ass whooped for one, and you're trying to cash out.
Cash out.
And
that's what it seems like. That's what it really seems like. That he really just wants to cash out.
Yeah, and the bad thing about boxing, you can't. If you're gonna quit in the ring, you're gonna look like a quitter. See, in the octagon, when Conor McGregor was under pressure and he got hurt by Nate Diaz, he he tried for a takedown and he asked to get choked because he turned his back on Nate Diaz while they're on the ground. So he just choked him. That's the easy way out. I'm gonna tap out. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get knocked out in front of all these people. You know what I mean? But in the ring, if you're gonna quit, everybody gonna be able to tell you, oh, you quit, because you know what I mean. At the end of the day, if you could still stand up, you know what I mean. The ref gonna let the fight go. So, but other than that, he's getting paid enough it's gonna be worth it for him to get knocked out. I mean, he's gonna get paid like 100 plus or whatever the money is.
No doubt about it. He did the math. He did the math. He know what time it is. And I just want to, just once again, give a little contrast. When we talk about the James Toney situation, you guys talking about, he was out of shape, et cetera, et cetera. By way of contrast, if you look at Ray Mercer versus Tim Silva, at the time, Tim Silva was in his 30s. Ray Mercer was the one that was out of shape, and he was the one that was in his 50s. And he still managed to knock out not just any MMA fighter, but a former UFC heavyweight champion of the world. This is why they never brought Tim Silva back to the UFC, because they don't want, a fighter tied, linked to get knocked out by a boxer. So, this is why Dana White, he's going to do everything he can do to stop this fight from coming to fruition. But at the same time, Conor makes really good points when he talks about the Muhammad Ali Act, when he talks about the fact that they often let fighters go out, like AK said, go out and do jiu-jitsu tournaments and wrestling and all that kind of stuff. Why is it all of a sudden when it comes to boxing, now you're like, no, you can't do that. So McGregor is a very smart person. He's a great promoter. That was brilliant, for him to do a pay-per-view interview. I mean, I just hope that doesn't start trending, that he did something like that. But it was brilliant on his part for him to do something like that, So with that being said, we're going to take another call. Let's take another call, guys. Okay, so we got 973. Thanks for holding, man. What's going on?
What's up, Dante? This is George calling from Newark, New Jersey. This Fighting Words Boxing Network on YouTube.
Okay, what's going on, man?
I just want to say, Dante, I love your channel. I love how you speak the whole truth, man. And you're the number one boxing channel on YouTube, if you ask me, man. I just want to say you're doing a great job.
I appreciate you, family. I appreciate you, man. And what's your channel again? Because I think I seen you in the comment section. What is it?
Fighting Words Boxing Network.
Fighting Words Boxing Network, man. Nobody talking about. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to my man right now, man. So I appreciate you, man. So what's on your mind, man?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the Mikey Garcia, Zatichinich, I think that's his name.
Zatichinich, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, a little crazy name. But Mikey Garcia, man, I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a great boxer. He comes from a really good pedigree. He has great balance. He's accurate. He has a lot of great things about him. But when you look at Zatichanic serves himself up on a silver platter for Mikey Garcia.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is he's already a one-dimensional fighter.
That's what AK was saying. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he's a stalker. But when you're stalking a boxer like a Mikey Garcia, I mean, you know your son boxes. You train your son. You have to close distance. We call it out here. I'm from Jersey. We call it closing distance responsibly. You have to be behind your jab, head movement,
intelligent aggression.
Touch the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Different things like that. Zatichanic didn't do any of those things. He walked straight in on Mikey Garcia. Then once he began to feel Mikey's power, he began to hesitate.
Yeah.
And that just played right into Mikey's hands.
Yeah.
Even though he was a champion, Mikey was off for 2.5 years. I believe Mikey Garcia he got a gift that night. I believe he got a gift because he had a fighter that didn't really pose any kind of threat other than power, other than landing one power shot. And then if you're talking about Mikey versus Robert Easter, Robert Easter has many different dimensions. Although he doesn't have the experience, he can fight. Robert Easter can walk you down. He can fight in the pocket, and he can box you. You understand what I'm saying? And he's going to pose many different problems, and he has the speed and the reach over Mikey Garcia.
And the reach.
And a reach. Yes, right. And the one thing I don't like about Robert Easter is that he tends to stand tall when he is in the pocket. So he's susceptible to that overhand right that he was getting hit by
against Comey
from Richard Comey. But I do believe that that'd be an excellent fight. And if Rob, I would go as far as to say if Robert Easter can take Mikey Garcia's power shot, I would go as far as to say he would dominate Mikey Garcia.
Yeah,
I think with the speed, I think with the power, I think with the reach, he would not only beat Mikey, but he would dominate Mikey Garcia.
People have to
Let's not forget Francis Bartholomew. Let's not forget Francis.
A beast.
This is a fighter. He has a very long reach. He has a lot of power in the right hand. He has a very deep amateur background coming from Cuba. And I think he's someone to be reckoned with from 135 to 140. But I'm saying I love Mikey. I'm not taking anything away from Mikey. I love Mikey. I love his family. I love the whole boxing family. But I believe Robert Easter is another animal. As long as he button up a couple things, I believe he's another animal.
I mean, and as far as him, you're saying, his weakness is kind of he stand up tall on the inside. He don't got to worry about that with the Mikey Garcia fight because Mikey Garcia is not an inside fighter. And in the inside, all Mikey Garcia going to do is hold. So, you know what I mean? That's going to be taken away. And another thing is, it's just it's the fact that I just think that he, Mikey Garcia hit hard. You know what I mean? We all know that. So I don't think it's a matter of fact, can he take his shot? Is he just has to not get hit by Mikey. You know what I mean? He just has to have good defense that night. And that's why I'm picking him. Because I feel like he has enough defense and good enough skill to outclass Mikey Garcia.
And let me just say this.
Absolutely, I agree.
And I agree with most of what you're saying. I just slightly would disagree. I wouldn't say Mikey got a gift against Zatichanic. And I give Mikey credit against, Zatichanic. Because I'm looking at what Zatichanic did to, Ivan Redkach and Ricky Burns. I mean, I personally thought this was going to be a much tougher fight for Mikey Garcia, but I totally agree with you. So I give him total credit, and I thought he looked very impressive in that fight, but I totally agree with you when it comes to Robert Easter. Robert Easter has drinking this soda over here. Robert Easter, he has way more dimensions compared to anyone that Mikey Garcia has ever even faced. And that's why I'm slightly leaning towards Robert Easter. On top of that, the power. You said if he can deal with his power, I feel Comey hits just as hard as Mikey Garcia does. And he got caught. And Robert Easter took Comey's hardest shots. So with that being said, once again, for the 20th time, that's why I'm leaning towards Robert Easter in that fight. Hey, thank you for your call, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dante, for taking my call. Peace,
hey,
brother.
No doubt, man. Y'all go ahead and subscribe to my man's channel right there, man. Sound like, he know what he's talking about. Like I said, we don't always have to agree on every single thing. You know, I told you guys before, me and my mama, we don't agree on everything, and I'm sure y'all can relate to that. You feel me? So that's pretty much what that is. Did any of you guys want to touch on that before we go to the next one? We gonna wrap it up in probably the next 5 minutes. Y'all good? Okay. Okay, but yeah, man. So what was you gonna say, AK?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay. So anyway, man, let's go ahead and take one more call. Let's see what we got over here, man. All right, so we got 951. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Dante? This Ed from California.
Okay, what's going on, Ed? California, you over there in my homes? You over there in my city, Long Beach, or what?
No, man. I'm from I live in Temecula, the suburbs.
Okay.
I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I moved out here out of the military. But I just want to say, man, I met you in L.A. at the Danny Garcia and the Robert Guerrero fight. That was a good card.
Okay.
But I just want to say, Mikey Garcia, the only thing that I disagree with the panel on is that I think Mikey Garcia tends to fight guys that they know they can win against. I've never seen Mikey Garcia really in a tough fight. As I would say, like, he's like the Manny Pacquiao. He hasn't fought an athletic fighter yet that we could really say, like, man, Mikey Garcia, he a dominant fighter. We just know how good he is because he has the tools to be that good. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think that he's been tested against, you know, a boxer, a brawler, or somebody who can make him go that extra distance. I don't know if you think I'm wrong or not, but, you know, that's just how I feel.
It's all good. I mean, yeah, I would slightly disagree because, I guess I would completely disagree because when it comes to the Orlando Salido, well, no, you know, I mean, because I agree with you when you say that he hasn't fought an athletic fighter, you know, a slick fighter. I agree with you on that. But when it comes to him fighting an aggressive fighter, you know, someone who's going to go in there and try to bully him around, Orlando Salido did that, you know, and that's what Zatichinin tried to do. But Mikey Garcia was smart enough to circle to his left. He completely nullified Zatichinin's left hand. And once he took away his left hand, it was like, dude had no weapons. He didn't really know what to do.
That's true.
You know, he kept trying to land that left, and it wasn't coming close. And Mikey Garcia was picking him apart with the jab. So I do believe he's fought some tough guys, but I do agree with you. Once again, he hasn't faced athletic, slick type of fighters yet. And we're going to see a complete different type of Mikey Garcia, I truly believe. Matter of fact, even when he fought against Eloy Rojas, if you notice, even in that fight, that guy, he was slick, but he wasn't on the level of Robert Easter, you know, a Gary Russell, you know, those type of styles, Terrence Crawford. But you notice he had more problems. Mikey Garcia had more problems with Eloy Rojas than Zatichinin. So that kind of goes towards the point you were making when you said that, you know, it's athletic fighters that will probably give him problems, you know.
Yeah, I have one more question about dealing with Mikey Garcia. Do you think that the reason why they're so quick to say, oh, we're going to move up to 140 because they don't want to lose that big money fight with Adrian Broner or Terrence Bud Crawford to Robert Easter?
Well, I mean, I really don't know because I could have swore, unless Mikey Garcia has already changed in his mind, but I could have swore Mikey kept saying before that he wants to unify the belts and then move up to 140. Now, yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I know that it was talking about that at the when he's at the post-press conference saying that he wanted to go to 140.
Yeah.
Right away. I thought he said right away.
Yeah. No, he's not. Hey, man, but hey, brother, I got to get to the next one, man. But thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you, family.
Thanks, man.
All right, take care, man. So, yeah, you know, that's pretty much what that is, man. Well, I think we pretty much wrapped everything up, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this one, guys, and we will definitely be back. We'll definitely be back next week. We're going to make sure that we do this every single Monday. We're going to have a lot of celebrities on the show in the future, and we'll let you guys know. Matter of fact, I want to go ahead and confirm it before I tell you guys about it. But I should have a really good special guest on the show next Monday. All right. So you guys can always call in and, we'll go ahead and take it from there. See you guys next week on Monday. We on to the next one. Thanks again to my panel, Kirk Jackson from BoxingInsider.com. And we got my man, A.K.A. Rap King, subscribe to his channel, and my man Milton Arline, man. You know your boy Dante's Boxing Nation. You know how we get down. I'm on to the next one, y'all.